Welcome to the lesson on Introduction to Fractions. I am your teacher, Ben McGahee. Motivation. What can help us get excited and motivated to learn fractions? We'll start off with some pictures. How many circles do you see in this picture? You got a red circle, green circle, purple circle, and a yellow circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 circles in that picture. How many circles do you see in this picture? So this one might be tricky as well. Some people might say 4, but we're asking for how many circles we see, and we actually only see 1 circle because this circle is broken up into 4 equal pieces, kind of like what your mom would do when she's slicing a pie or a pizza into equal parts. So this idea motivates our topic for this lesson called fractions, which brings us to a question. What are fractions? Fractions are numbers that represent a part of a whole. Part of a whole. The whole is divided into equal parts. So we have the whole, whether it be your pizza, your pie, a candy bar, it's broken up into equal parts. So that means that all of the parts are the same size that make up the whole. Now fractions can be written as a part divided by the whole. So we have part over whole. So the part is the number that goes on top, and then we have our division symbol, the line, and then the whole is the bottom number below the division line. So we can kind of think of fractions as like a division problem, where you have one number divided by another number, part over whole. So here's an example fraction. So we're going to go back to that circle picture, the green and white circle. And if we notice here, that circle we said was broken up into 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we see that 2 out of those 4 parts are shaded green. So this tells us that the fraction of the circle that's shaded green is 2 over 4, or 2/4. The top number in the fraction, that's 2, is called the numerator. The bottom number in the fraction is called the denominator, and that would be 4. So numerator over denominator. Exercises, fractions. Identify the fraction that is shaded for each of the following shapes. So we have a couple of shapes here, and we got to identify the fraction for each of these shapes. Our first shape here is we have a bar. It's divided into a few pieces and red. So you need to identify the fraction that's shaded in red for this shape. And then in our second shape, we have a circle, and it's divided into even more pieces that are shaded blue. So you need to identify the fraction of that circle that's shaded in blue. So I can give you time to look over these and think about it, and you can pause the video if you like, and then when you're ready you can continue, see what the answers are. Okay, here are the solutions. It'll be 2/3 for our first shape. 2 parts are shaded red out of 3 parts total for the bar. And then for the circle, only 5 parts are shaded blue out of 8 total. So we have 5/8. So now we have some exercises where we identify the numerator and the denominator in each fraction. Identify numerator and denominator. We have 1/2 and 4/6. So those are our two fractions there, 1/2 and 4/6. Give you a few seconds to think about that. Numerator and denominator. Here are the solutions. Numerator for 1/2 is 1 and the denominator is 2. Numerator for 4/6, we have 4 and the denominator is 6. Those are our answers. Okay, let's talk about proper and improper fractions. Proper and improper fractions. There are two types of fractions. Proper fractions are fractions where the numerator is less than the denominator. So proper fractions are a type of fractions where you have a value less than 1, where the numerator is smaller than the denominator. Improper fractions are fractions where the numerator is greater than or equal to the denominator. So if the numerator is greater than the denominator, that fraction is greater than 1. And then if you have the numerator is equal to the denominator, if they're the same, the part over the whole, if they're the same, you get a fraction equal to 1. That's 1 whole. So here's some examples. 5/9, 5/9 is a proper fraction since the numerator 5 is less than the denominator 9. So 5/9 is proper fraction. 13/10 or 13/10 is an improper fraction since the numerator 13 is greater than the denominator 10. So 13/10, improper fraction. Here are mixed numbers. Mixed numbers are a mixture of whole numbers and fractions together. So you have the whole number and fraction all put together to make a mixed number. The number 3 and 1/2 is a mixed number since it has the whole number 3 and the fraction 1/2. So you have a whole number and a fraction put together. So let's learn how to convert a mixed number into an improper fraction. In step 1, we're going to multiply the denominator in the fraction by the whole number in the mixed number. Step 2, we're going to add that number that we got from step 1 to the numerator. So we're going to add that number to the numerator. And finally, for step 3, that number becomes the new numerator from step 2, and the denominator stays the same. It doesn't change at all. Stays the same. So here's an example. We want to convert 3 2/5 as an improper fraction. Step 1, we're going to multiply the whole number 3 times the denominator, which is 5, and 3 times 5 equals 15. Step 2, we're going to add 15, the number we got from step 1, and then add that to 2, the numerator, and that equals 17. 15 plus 2 is 17. And then finally, step 3, 17, that's the number we got in step 2, becomes the numerator, and 5 becomes the denominator. So putting these together, we get the improper fraction for 3 2/5 is 17/5. So notice that the numerator is greater than the denominator. So that's why it's an improper fraction. Now, converting an improper fraction to a mixed number. So we're going to learn how to do this. Step 1, we're going to divide the denominator into the numerator. Step 2, the quotient, the number that you get on top when you divide on the division house, that becomes the whole number. And then finally, for step 3, the remainder becomes the numerator of the fraction. So that's what you get left over. That becomes the numerator. And then the denominator of the fraction stays the same. That does not change. So here's an example. Convert 9/4 to a mixed number. Step 1, divide 4 into 9. So we know that 4 goes into 9 2 times. So 2 becomes the whole number. In step 2, multiply 2 times 4, which equals 8, and then subtract 9 minus 8, which equals 1, which is the remainder. So we get 1 becomes the numerator for the fraction, and then the denominator of the fraction is still 4, which was also 4 when we started as an improper fraction. So that does not change. So this is kind of similar to what we did before. That denominator always stays the same. So step 3, we just put all together, and we notice that our mixed number for the improper fraction, 9/4, is 2 1/4. 2 is our whole number, 1/4 is our fraction. Here are some exercises. Determine if a fraction is proper or improper. We have 4/3 and 11/15. 4/3, 11/15. Are they proper or improper? Solutions. The answers. The first one is improper. Numerator is greater than the denominator. The second fraction is proper because the numerator is less than the denominator. And here are some exercises. Wrap it up. Let's convert the mixed number to an improper fraction. So we have 8 4/5. And then our second problem, we're going to convert the improper fraction to a mixed number. 32/17, or 32/17. So I'll give you a little time to work on these to get the right answer. Or you can pause the video and continue when you're ready. So here are the solutions. For our first one, we get improper fraction of 44/5, or 44/5. And in the second problem, we get a mixed number of 1 and 15/17. 1 and 15/17. So here is the end of the lesson for Introduction to Fractions. Thank you for viewing this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Please stay tuned for future lessons on fractions. Have a good day. Goodbye.